All right, y'all. It's your girl Shay Renee, and today we're going to talk about Sistas on BET. Now, I don't know if a lot of y'all watch the show, but this is one of my favorite scripted shows. So we're gonna talk about it. I hope y'all get on and join with me. But can I tell you something? I really wasn't impressed with this, second half opener, if you will. We're gonna talk about it. Let's get into it, shall we? All right, y'all. So the episode opens up with a continuation of the end of last season. So last season, it closed out with Fatima over Hayden's house, getting ready to basically tear some stuff up. Okay. And she saw that Gary was over there and she didn't know what the relationship between Hayden and Gary was at this point. She's just shocked to see them. And she had just finished tearing up Hayden's car, thinking that he was the reason why Zach was in jail. So a lot of things going on here. Number one, Tyler Perry was supposed to bring this back, I think, in August, and he pushed up the date to bring the show back in in June instead, which I feel like he should have waited if he was going to be able to, if that was going to give him a chance to make it better, because this opener kind of fell flat. I'm going to give it a 7. I love the show, so that's why it's above a 5 for me, but it missed the mark in this episode for me. So the episode starts out with Fatima at Hayden's house, trashing things, trying to figure out how Hayden is involved with Zach's arrest and how him and Gary know each other. So Gary says they worked on a case together and they remained friends ever since after that case. That's how they know each other, which I don't know if that's true or not, but whatever. Both of y'all actually are using each other. You have Hayden spying on Andy, which I don't know why, because he don't never talk to her, don't never see her. He's not going to do anything to help influence you in your situation with her whatsoever. And then Hayden is using Gary to get at Zach. So I wouldn't be surprised if Hayden found some woman and put her up to sue Zach to say that some random kid is his and he's promising her something. And my thing is, you're going to extra lengths for a woman that don't want you. Like, if it's not Zach that Fatima is with, she's going to be with somebody else. And that somebody else is always going to be somebody else and never going to be you. So I don't even understand his position on the show. Like, I feel like his character is worthless at this point. Yes, he's causing drama, but for what? At this point, you just doing things just to do it. So moving on. Hayden calls the police and Gary tells Fatima to leave because it's not constructive what she is doing. She drops Hayden's father's ashes and breaks the damn urn. I'm like, oh my gosh, Fatima, like you're doing too much. And you don't even know at this point what his involvement is. You're just kind of just pissed off because you feel like you just know he did something, but you don't have no evidence or proof. So then Zach calls on the phone and tells Fatima to come to his house. Because he wants to, talk to her about why he was in jail. She said, did Hayden have anything to do with it? And he said, nah, no, he didn't. And she says, oh, shit. So then she's like, well, she gets off the phone and she says to Hayden, well, apparently this is all a mix up. But just save it for next time because I'm sure you're going to do some shit. Sis, you can't just go over somebody's house and mess their shit up and roll out. Like, what? And he's a lawyer. And you work at the firm that he worked. Child. None of that made no damn sense. Okay. So Gary calls Andy and tells her about Fatima breaking up Hayden's stuff in his house and tells her to check on Fatima because that was some crazy shit that she did. So Andy asks, so how do you know Hayden again? And he says, oh, you didn't know we knew each other? I thought you knew that. Oh, okay. And then Andy says, no, I didn't know. And Gary tells Andy, he's like, yeah, well, we know each other. But yeah, just call your girl. Like, he's just skipping over the fact that she don't know, never seen y'all hanging out. Why the heck would she know that y'all know each other? And you knew better. You knew that you were trying it. You definitely knew right in that moment that you were caught. And he probably regrets calling her and telling her ass anything. So then he asks her if he can come back over there. And then Andy says, no, you can't because, remember Paris? Yeah, he's over here now. And, we're having drinks. Because Gary says, oh, 2 dinners in one night. She's like, no, we're having drinks. First of all, wasn't nobody in her house, by the way. So she's just playing all these games with Gary just to get a reaction out of him. And here's my thing with women. Don't play games with these men. If they ain't shit and you think they ain't shit, just move on. Don't play little mind games with him to see if he gonna do this or do that. See how he's gonna react to little buttons that you push. Let it go. Let it burn. Okay? Like Usher. All right. So moving on. Then he says, well, can we do lunch tomorrow? I'm like, you're talking to her and trying to woo this woman, and you just witnessed somebody tearing somebody's damn house up. I would be trying to get the hell out of there, because if somebody can come up in somebody's house with a bat and throw their damn daddy ashes on the ground, she might come back with a gun, and I ain't trying to be on the other end of it, if you catch my drift. So anyway, Andy hangs up and says, this shit ain't gonna work. No shit, Sherlock. Now you finally realizing that? But whatever. We'll see how she continues to play these little games with him throughout the season. So in the next scene, Andy calls Fatima, and Fatima gives her the "is everything okay?" professional voice, and she's like, oh, it's really late. Like, do you need anything? And then Andy says, don't play with me. Don't give me that professional shit. And so Fatima says, oh, so Gary called you. And then Fatima says, how did Gary and Hayden? She asks, how did Gary and Hayden know each other? And Andy says, you introduced them, right? And I'm like, well, Andy, you act like you didn't know that they knew each other. Now you're telling her that they introduced each other. I'm so confused. Like, the writing is just so not cohesive in this episode. I don't know what's going on. Mind you, Fatima is standing on the outside of her car taking this phone call, and this man then called the police on her. So why the fuck are you standing outside of your car? There's a thing called Bluetooth, and y'all have used it on several other episodes. I don't understand why she couldn't be in the car having this conversation with Andy driving down the road. Why are you standing outside of your car and the police are coming? They've already been dispatched to this man's house. Okay, that didn't make no damn sense, but whatever, moving on. So then Fatima says she did all that to Hayden's house because she thought Hayden was messing with her. And she tells him about Zach. She tells Andy about Zach being in jail. Andy says, I want to know more about this Hayden thing, but be safe. Go ahead and get out of there. So Fatima says, I have to go. I hear sirens. And then I'm just like, just still baffled that she's standing outside of her damn car talking on the damn phone. Like, really, Tyler? Really? Moving on. Sabrina's in the club with the rich guy. I think his name is Bilal or whatever. And they go back and forth about, oh, I want to go home. No, I don't want to go home. Oh, it's the best night of my life. What a wasted scene. First of all, everybody was in there dancing on a different damn beat. Them dancing and all that, them showing everybody dancing, that took too damn long. Like, why do we need to see? It looked like a scene of Good Times, the painting come to life, everybody dancing in the club. Like, it was just too much. So moving on, she's like, this is the best night of my life, and she's drunk as hell. And then she decides, okay, we're gonna go ahead and go. I'm gonna go ahead and go home. Just take me home. I'm like, okay, what a waste of a scene. Like, y'all went back and forth about who gonna take somebody home if y'all gonna hang out with each other for like 7 minutes of my life that I can't get back. So moving on, Fatima goes to Zach's house and he tells her why he got arrested and says that there's a woman accusing him of being the father of her 3-year-old son. And there's no way that he's that chick's baby daddy because he don't even know who the chick is. And that's not his son. So Fatima is like, are you sure that ain't your damn baby? And he's like, are you kidding me? Why don't you believe me? Like, because he's so used to Fatima just automatically believing what he says. And she's like, well, Zach, you was a hoe. Like, you did cheat on Karen. You was out in these streets, dick diving in broads. So what the, I mean, like, what? Don't act like it's like so far-fetched that this couldn't be your child. He says, well, it's not my child. And I don't like that you don't believe me wholeheartedly. And she was like, okay, I believe you. So I'm just like, okay, y'all, this is too much. So then they're hugging, and he's like, well, why did you mess up Hayden's house? And she was like, well, I thought he was fucking with you again. So I went on and took care of it. So he's like, all right, well, go upstairs and take a shower or whatever. Like, you could just stay here. You don't have to go home. She's like, no, I just want to go home and be in my own place and relax. Okay. So then Zach sees glass in her hair, and she's like, oh, I need that. So she takes it and puts it in her pocket. He's like, why would you put it in your pocket? She's like, it's evidence. I got to take care of it. And Zach just smirks and smiles as Fatima is leaving, saying, she's crazy, but I love her. I'm like, y'all two are crazy as hell. And then Fatima says, go take a shower because you smell like jail. I'm like, well, both of y'all asses about to be smelling like damn jail because y'all crazy as hell. So moving on, this whole scene just was a waste of my damn life and time too. So Q is sleeping on the couch, which why is Q at Maurice's house? Just why? Maurice, if you like Q, just go ahead and fuck him and do whatever you're going to do. Like, be with him. Like, all this back and forth, playing these little games and whatnot, like having him in your house, knowing that you almost lost your job over this man. Like, if your job knew that he was in your house, like, you definitely are looking like an accessory right now. It's giving very much an accessory, okay? So he sneaks into Maurice's room and trying to convince him to let him sleep in his bed because he just is so enamored by Maurice because he speaks life over him and he just can't leave him alone. I can't leave him alone. Got that dope boy game and I, just don't want to leave him alone. Get out of here. Shout out to Sierra. Q, get off my screen. Tyler, take this, throw the whole character away. It's giving, I need Maurice to come out with a story different outside of this. There has to be a different way to write Maurice's character in to give him more time. Because with Q, it's just a waste of my time. It's trash. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. Then he's in the bed and Maurice gives him this, you don't really know me like you think you do, and tells him to get out of his bed. Well, blah, blah, blah. Moving on. Q is walking out of the room and he's in his boxers and obviously has a sock in his pants. And he pulls his, adjusts his boxers or whatever. Now Maurice is just he just can't resist the D, okay, thinking about it. So he got to take another cold shower, child, because it's just getting harder and harder to resist this chocolate man on the couch. Why is he in your house? I just, moving on. Karen comes in the shop and Pam is there early. So Pam says, Karen is like, why are you here early? Like, what the hell? The shop don't open for another couple of hours. What are you doing here? She was like, you must be here to be nosy. So Pam says, well, I know what happened to Zach. I know that police lady that was in here was the one that arrested him. So then she's like, how the hell do you know that? And she was like, she's like, wow, I wonder why she arrested him. And Pam was like, well, I thought you would know. You ain't bail him out? And Karen was like, no, I'm pretty sure Fatima did that. Karen, he's not your man. Like, she's another character that I'm just like, why? Why, Lord, why? Like, you assume the worst of Zach all the time, but yet you want to be with him. Yet you're so pressed for your baby to be his. You just want him in your life in some type of capacity just so that you can be crazy and talk shit. Like, why? It's like Zach is damned if he do and damned if he don't. You only have negative things to say about him, but yet you can't get enough of him. It's giving crazy. It's just all around crazy. So Aaron walks in to pick Karen up to go to this doctor's office, which, Tyler, let me stop you right here. Let me read the comments. Jessica with a K. Yay, another live. Yes, sis, you done got on with me again. I'm glad you watched this show. Thank you so much for watching. He's acting guilty. Yes, definitely. Definitely. I saw that comment and I know what you're talking about. Definitely guilty. Definitely guilty. Okay. So moving on. Aaron comes in to pick Karen up at the doctor's office, which here's my thing, Tyler. You done dragged this whole Karen going to the doctor and figuring out who is the baby daddy of this baby for team too fucking long much. I wanted to find out who the baby daddy was in this first episode. That would have blown me away. Like, I need something. I need something to be concluded. Please do not drag this out for another 5 episodes because I cannot take it. Like, I cannot. I need to know next episode. Please stop fucking around. Like, seriously. These storylines are taking too damn long to evolve and just happen. Just make it happen. Like, it's too much. Okay, and I'm about damn sick of it. So moving on, Karen says, this, I just really don't want you to get your hopes up because it's not your baby. And Aaron is like, I did the math, like science is what it is. And she's like, well, it's not your baby, so yeah. Karen, you don't fucking know. You done had so many dicks in you in the last, around the time that you could have gotten pregnant. Girl, shut up. I'm sick of her. And she probably quiet as a scap. Her ass probably ain't even fucking pregnant. She won't go there, ain't nothing on the damn sonogram. She done crazied herself into thinking she pregnant. But moving on. Aaron says, well, no matter what happens, I'm always going to be here for you. Okay, Aaron, knock it off. It's too much. So the next scene, Andy is looking for someone to check her home to see if Gary is spying on her. And she apparently sees some ad with Fuego on it because he does that type of work. That's the stripper guy that Danny was messing with. So she calls Danny to tell her about her findings with Fuego. And they go back and forth talking about Fuego and then, how Danny was all into him when they were in school and whatnot. And why is he stripping? Whatever. They go back and forth about a whole bunch of foolishness and a bunch of minutia that don't nobody care about. Because like this whole conversation was just way too long. So Danny says, okay, well, yeah, have him come over and do it, whatever. And then they talk about going to lunch the next day and they need to talk about Karen because they feel like she's pretty much getting out of control with the Zach stuff. So the next scene, Maurice wakes up. He's banging pots and pans to wake Q up to tell him to get up out of his damn house, child, which, you don't want him to leave. It's very clear. So Calvin is sitting there with his worthless character ass too, watching Q sleep, drinking coffee. I'm like, what type of sick? Okay, Calvin, whatever. So then Maurice says, so did he come in your room too? Because he came in my room last night. And Calvin was like, no, he ain't come in my room. And Maurice was like, well, he came in my room. Did you want what you wanted him to come in your room? I'm like, oh my God, both of y'all about to fight over this damn man. That is so ridiculous. And so Q is like, well, I can't leave. Maurice is telling him to get out. He's like, well, I can't leave. I have to be here from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. So if you tell me to leave, I'm just going to be outside. I ain't going nowhere. I'm like, Q. Whatever. Maurice gonna let him back in. Moving on. Sabrina goes to Danny's house to tell her about this amazing date that she had with this guy, Bilal. And she says she had so much fun. She's glad that she listened to her and gave him a chance. So Danny says she should have gave him some since the date was so damn good. First of all, Danny, why everybody gotta give up the giblets the first night? Girl, stop. So Danny says she should have, when she says she should have gave him something, she says, what about Panty Man? And Sabrina says, I don't want to talk about him. It's just so hard since I met him. Relationships shouldn't be this hard. It's just too much with Calvin. And Danny says, yeah, just like Preston, it's a lot. And Sabrina says, oh, no, man. You screwed that relationship up. It's all your fault why that is not working out. So please, let's make that very clear. It's definitely you. You screwed the pooch on that relationship. And she's like, well, he doesn't understand me. He doesn't even know what I like and all this, but whatever. And Sabrina says, yeah, okay, you messed it up. And then so Sabrina leaves out and is on her way to work. And Danny yells out before she walks out the door saying, we're all meeting for lunch tomorrow so we can talk about Karen. And Sabrina says, okay, I'll be there. So in the last scene, Preston goes over to Zach's house and they talk about sconces for way too long for my liking. I'm like, really? We done spent like 6 minutes on sconces. Get into the scene. So then Zach is like, so you've been doing what I told you to do? So we find out that Zach been telling Preston to go on these dates with these chicks because he feels like that's going to make Danny jealous and then that's going to get her to act right. And Preston doesn't feel good about it. He's like, I don't want to be having her doing this stuff because number one, I'm hurting these women that I'm with. They like me. I'm not really fooling with them because at the end of the day, I just want to be with Danny. But I don't think that this is really helping me. It's really pissing her off at the end of the day. And I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to tell her how I feel and see how we can move forward. And Zach is like, stick with me, kid. I'm telling you, it's going to work. You got to stick it out. So he's like, okay, well, what you need me to do? Preston's like, what you need me to do? What you need me to move around? So he moving boxes around and helping Zach get some stuff done with his house. And in walks in Jake from State Farm. So Jake comes in and he's like, oh, you're out. So, how did it go with Fatima? Did you tell her? And he says, yeah, I told her. He was like, so what did Jake says, so what did she say? First of all, Jake, you're a little too involved with how Fatima is responding. Are you in on this shit? I don't trust Jake from State Farm either. So then Jake says, listen, so Zach confirms, he says, yeah, she's cool with it. Like, she's cool. As long as I tell her the truth, she's cool. So Jake is like, I gotta seriously get you to meet my girl. I want to know who his girlfriend is because he keeps on bringing up the fact that, Fatima needs to meet his girl. This makes me feel like his girlfriend gonna be some pivotal portion of this show at some point. So bring on the girlfriend, Jake from State Farm. I need to see what the hell is going on. So then he says, so you ready to get to studying? And Zach is like, come again? What the hell are you talking about? He's like, yeah, we need to study the SEC stuff and, the Bellanista training, like, so you can know what the hell you're talking about with these stocks and bonds. And Zach is like, oh, I didn't think I really had to do that. Like, I really got to do that? You think they really going to be grilling me like that? He's like, Zach, yes, they definitely are. And you certainly, sir, need some help. So I guess they're going to sit down and go over all this stuff. But yeah, I was a little underwhelmed by this episode. Like, I really wanted him to come back. I wanted Tyler Perry to bring this thing back strong. I wanted Q to get the hell out. I want the paternity test. Like, I want to know if Karen is pregnant. And I need to know who the baby daddy is. Like, I cannot take this anymore. It's giving... I can't watch it no more if we don't get to the point. Like, you're dragging this shit out too long. And then you doing scenes that don't make no sense. Fatima standing outside of that car after they just called the police was just dumb. It's not realistic. Andy playing these little games with Gary. Like, I don't know. I'm going to watch next week's episode and see how it goes, y'all. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that's watching Sistas on BET too. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.